Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the topic on rural entrepreneurship. So, rural entrepreneurship. Before we enter into the topic, we should know what is rural. So, there are two definitions that are given by Census of India as per the country. So, the Census of India defines rural as any habitation with the population density of less than 400 per square kilometer, where at least 75% of the male working population is engaged in agriculture. At the same time, where there exists no municipality or corporation. This is how Census of India defines rural. Whereas corporates, they define rural as any place with the population up to 20,000. That's how they define for their convenience. So, then what is rural entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship whose origin lies in rural areas and has lot of potential to undertake various business, industry, agriculture and play a significant role in the economic growth of the nation is called rural entrepreneurship. So before we get into this rural entrepreneurship topic, we should understand certain facts and figures. There are several impressive facts that are available that makes a man to think of or get attracted towards rural entrepreneurship. There are 42,000 rural supermarkets available in India, which is more than the total retail chain in the US, that is 35,000. And Life Insurance Corporation, they sell 55% of their life insurance policies in rural India. And at least half of the BSNL mobile phone connections are in small towns and villages. And 60% of the Rediff mail users are in small towns. And the total number of debit card plus credit cards issued in India is more than 40 million, whereas the total number of Kisan credit cards issued in India is more than 41 million. So these are some facts that attracts an entrepreneur to start his venture in rural areas. So why this rural entrepreneurship? First one, it increases the employment in those areas and it induces the rural development in those areas. So naturally, the infrastructure facilities and other facilities, they slowly develop in the rural area. This helps in rural development and it helps in building the independent villages where facilities, autonomy that is available for the villages and the optimum use of local resources can be used. And it results in rural prosperity. And this rural entrepreneurship reduces rural to urban migration. So these are the plus points. How this rural marketing has emerged? So before 1960, that was called as phase 1, that where agricultural marketing was the primarily that was taken place, and that was called as rural marketing by that time. In phase 2, that is from 1960 to 1990, the marketing of agricultural inputs, say for example selling of tractors, etc., pesticides, fertilizers, these are all called as rural marketing. In phase 3, 1990 and later, the socio-economic progress in the rural area and the growth of rural markets for consumer goods, all these things has given rise to rural entrepreneurship. And before we proceed with the rural marketing concepts, we have to think of furthermore facts and figures in connection with rural environment. So let us start with some demographic aspects. So the total population in million in entire country from 1991 onwards, that is which is given here, and you can also look at the rural population in millions during the same period. So as the entire population progresses from 1981 onwards, you can also find out, sense or observe here, the rural population also progresses. So which clearly indicates that there is a clear rise in rural population. And coming to the educational level, there is a comparison between urban and rural which is given here. And if you make a comparison of these two, rural and urban educational levels, you can find there is no much difference between the literacy level in connection with rural and urban, and both are increasing. And the rural literacy, the percentage of literates in rural areas also progressively increasing year on year. And coming to the consumption pattern in rural areas. So when it comes to the age wise, the life cycle stage wise, urban and rural comparison is given here. So you can find there's a slight change in the consumption pattern, but still in rural areas as well as urban areas, people started consuming from childhood to teenage to youngsters to middle age to old age. You can find people consuming the products and services based on their age group. And coming to the rural penetration, here you can find the products listed on one side and the years given on the other side. You can find year on year the consumption of these products have increased in rural areas. The automobiles, television, to white goods, to motorcycles. So it is increasing from 1995-96 to the forthcoming years. And coming to the family structure, so again there is a comparison between rural and urban given here, and the based on the type of household there you can find there is no much significant difference between the rural and urban households. So the joint family, nuclear without elders, nuclear with elders, so there you can find there is no much significant difference between rural and urban. And let us go on to the challenges in rural entrepreneurship. So what are the expectations in connection with the products? So first one is the availability of the product. So that is a bigger challenge. The marketers have to ensure that their products are clearly placed in the rural area, and they have to make the products according to the need of the rural consumer, and the products are to be made affordable to the rural consumer, and the products must be made in an acceptable way to the rural consumer, and enough of awareness is to be created in the minds of rural consumers who reside in rural areas. And the packing size of the product should be in a convenient size that is acceptable in the rural markets. And coming to the pricing, so the cost plus pricing is already there. Apart from that, we have to decide the pricing methodology based on the pricing objectives, and deeper penetration is required, and the market size are increasing, so accordingly we have to decide the pricing. And in rural areas we can administer the reusable packs or refill type of packs, which are the price of which are very comparatively less. And coming to the physical distribution, how we can enter the rural area. So we can administer the price in connection, we can have the penetration pricing, where initially the prices of products and services will be less. Later on, after we habituate the people in rural areas, then we can increase the pricing. And economy pricing can be much administered with the help of the smaller packs. And value based pricing, we have to give value to the customer, we have to prove that we are giving much value to the consumer for the prices we are administering, and we have to administer the value pricing. Coinage pricing, which is already there, shampoo packets, now it is coming out with sachet packets, so coinage pricing can be administered. Psychological pricing, some kind of odd type of pricing that can also be administered in rural areas. And discounts and allowances can be administered, so that that will attract the rural consumer to come and purchase the products according to the requirement. And free gifts can be given in rural areas, that again attracts the target audience. And we can also have special schemes for rural retailers, so that they can order the products in bulk quantities and they can distribute and they can promote as they are in the marketplace. And coming to the challenges in connection with distribution, and the uniqueness in rural areas is the presence of large number of smaller markets. So to overcome this, we have to administer a special type of distribution strategy. So dispersed population and trade. So wider population spread in a very big market area, that is another challenge. And infrastructure facility, poor road connectivity is another challenge. And there are multiple tiers of people who engage in the process of distribution. That is another challenge, because every percent in the distribution area, we will expect a margin. So if more number of people they operate in the in between from the manufacturer to the end user, then we have to pay a higher margin to them. And poor availability of suitable dealers. So dealers may be available, but we have to find out the right person. So spotting the right person is another biggest challenge. And the density of shops per village is very less, and there is a high variation in their concentration. So in rural areas, there will be 1 or 2 shops which engage in all types of retail sales of all types of products. So that is another challenge. And inadequate bank and credit facilities for rural retailers. Now the steps are being taken by government to focus on bringing the banks and financial institutions to rural areas. And storage system is poor, frequent power cuts are expected. So this is another challenge. And the rural market is a highly credit driven market, and low investment capacity of retail is another challenge. So next is the poor visibility and display of products, because more number of products are displayed at a shorter space, lower space. And poor communication of offers and schemes, because whatever the offer and schemes that are communicated by the manufacturer, it is not properly reaching the end user. So this is another challenge. And coming to the rural penetration, so the penetration levels are high when compared to the urban areas, and the product wise penetration percentage is given here. And the types of rural outlets, there are provision stores, there are tea shops, there are ration shops, cycle repair shops, to textiles, to vegetables and fruits, hotels, chemists, all are there. And the majority of these people, they do more than one type of business in the same shop. Say a tea shop can also be a vegetable shop. So that kind of the different type of outlets are found in rural areas. And how we can target the rural market? One is we can go for an undifferentiated marketing. Say for example wedding mix, which is targeted for all type of users. No gender difference or no age difference or social status or all that. So we can go for undifferentiated marketing. Otherwise, in certain products we can go for differentiated or targeted marketing. Example, in case of tractors, so there we have 30 HP tractors, 50 HP tractors, depending on the requirement of the end user. Or we can go for a concentrated strategy, like a single segment concentration. Example, Lifebuoy or Lux. These are all some examples. So depending on the product and its applications and the nature of the end user, we have to decide what type of targeting can be done in rural areas. Next is positioning. So positioning is about keeping the product in the top of the mind of the targeted customer. So how we can position the product? We can go by product differentiation. Differentiate the product and we can position accordingly. Or we can go by service differentiation. For example, say certain petrol pumps, when you cannot differentiate the product among the petrol pumps, you can show the difference by way of giving a different kind of a service. We can sense this kind of a differentiation in case of petrol pumps. And engaging people and personalities, and based on by utilizing them we can position our products and services, and by utilizing the brand or company image we can position, and we have to select the right positioning concept, this attractiveness or distinctiveness or affordability or communicability. Based on that we can create a position, and we can also develop a new concept and we can position accordingly. Coming to the communication strategy. So how we can communicate to the target audience? First thing is that we should understand the rural audience, their nature, their language preference, and how do they live, what do they talk, where do they join together, and based on that we have to plan the communication strategy. We have to profile the target audience, and we have to determine the communication objectives, what is to be communicated, then design the message, how we are going to communicate the message, and select the appropriate communication channel, and based on that design the promotion strategy and a total integrated marketing communication plan. And coming to the rural media, it is slightly different from that of urban media. We have conventional mass media, we have non-conventional media, and we have personalized media. So in case of conventional mass media, television, radio, the press, cinema halls, all comes under. Apart from that, we have one unique conventional mass media called the wall painting that we can find out normally in rural areas. And non-conventional media, where we have something called as hearts and melas, where people join together once in a while, say once in a month or once in a week or even once in a year, to a special program or event that is organized, where all people in the nearby areas join together and they purchase the products accordingly. And folk media, puppet shows and magic shows that works well in rural areas. And the video wrath, otherwise called as video vans, whereby the video clip is displayed with in a video van, and people look at, and the van stands where there's a good crowd in the middle of the rural village somewhere, and the products are being promoted. And next one is the mandi, where again products are being sold in bulk quantities at a cheaper rate. So where with the help of which we can promote the products. Next is personalized media. So the direct mailer, this is known to all, and the point of sale, where demonstration can take place, where we can give the leaflets and we can create a sale, and the word of mouth communication and the interpersonal communication. All these type of techniques that work well in rural areas. And what are the supportive mechanisms that are available for a rural entrepreneur? So one is we have something called as rural innovation funding, and we have some kind of government schemes which are already running in rural areas, especially targeting the rural areas. And we have something called as NREP, that is National Rural Employment Program, which is already available with the government, which helps the rural entrepreneur to initiate their venture in the rural areas. Let us look on a set of people or proven entrepreneurs in rural area in India. So Dr. Varghese Kurian, you may be knowing by this time, who is called as the father of white revolution, who built the Amul brand. And the founders of Sri Mahila Girija Griha Udyog Lizard Puppet. So these are all a set of ladies joined together and they have created this company, and this is creating wonders. And there are some real-time case studies. For example, this Ramya Jose, she has created a pedal-powered washing machine, again which is meant for the rural audience. So where there is no question of power cut and all, with the help of this simple pedal-powered washing machine, this works well, and this was found to be successful. And next, Mr. M.J. Joseph, he has created one coconut tree climbing machine. In present situation of clear shortage of labor, this kind of machine really works well, and it is again found to be successful. In fact, because our government departments, they are giving some subsidies in purchasing such kind of machines. And next is about M.R. Prajapati. He has created this Midi-cool clay products which works, there is a cooker, water filter, lamps, all he has found, and he has created this kind of clay products which are very much attracted and sold in rural areas. And this is about Natubai water. He has created this cotton harvester, so with the help of a machine he has designed. And this ARTA, this Appropriate Rural Technology Institute, this has created a portable biogas unit specially meant for homes. So this is this kind of technology is already there, but it is not created. A small unit for homes is not created. This ARTA they have created it. And Gina Joseph, she has created a company called Zola India, where she sources the jewelry from rural India and sells it everywhere, every other place, all over the country. So by the way, with the help of which she is giving employment to the people who live in the rural place. And this is Anuradha Agarwal, who has created this Multi Bhashi, which is a language learning platform whereby people can able to easily learn a language. People who reside in the rural area can able to easily learn a language with the help of this platform. And Ekta Jaju has created this organic food products with the help of farmers in rural India. So this has helped the farmers to come out with this innovative, this good organic food concept. And Gunavati Chandrasekharan, she has created a product called Guna's Quilling. This is about wall art and greeting cards. She comes out from a rural background. So what is going to be the future for this rural entrepreneurship? So first step is to adapt 4 A's, that is awareness, access, availability and affordability. And next is the requirement of intelligent data that is required, that needs to be sourced from the rural areas. Based on that, further strategies are to be developed. And consumer finance. Presently, the rural area that goes with some unconventional mode of financing. It needs to be regulated. Of course, nowadays, Government of India and Reserve Bank, they have taken enough of steps to regulate this consumer finance, especially in rural areas. And retail and IT models needs to be developed, with the help of which we can able to explore further in the rural areas. And public-private partnership will really help in the rural area, so that the people who live in the rural area with less financial potential can able to get the opportunity to develop their business in the rural areas. And coming to the end of this small presentation, I would like to give an assignment to you. So you just go through and find out with your own sources what is this Jugaad innovation and what are the Jugaad principles. And based on these Jugaad principles, think of a product or service. It may be a new product, or it may be a product that is already available in a rural area near you. And by applying these Jugaad principles, how those products and services can be improvised. Try this out so that you can also taste the rural entrepreneurship. So with this, let me conclude. Thank you.